Call our toll-free number 1600. Upgrade your experience. Activate BoB today. Bhutan Telecom. All this for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome THIMPHU FC and TSIRANG FC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kuzangpo, and welcome to the BoB Bhutan Premier League, where two sides with very different trajectories meet this afternoon, but both arrive with plenty of reason for optimism. First is THIMPHU FC. The Thunderbolts earned promotion as champions of the qualifiers and have experienced the ups and downs that often come with life in the top flight. But there are signs that things may be coming together. Their most recent victory over Ogun Academy saw new signings Chizoba and Williams make encouraging debuts, while Richard Wilson announced his return to form in spectacular fashion with a hat-trick, a result that has lifted both confidence and expectations. And opposite them is a TSIRANG FC side enjoying one of the strongest spells in their recent history. 3 wins after a commanding 3-0 victory over Tensung last time out. They arrived today with a chance to continue their climb and potentially influence yet another change near the top of the table. So the stage is set, the Warriors are on the field as we await the national anthem to kick things off.
If you're able to stand, please rise for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kuzangpo, and welcome back again to another match day. Again, a reminder, it is THIMPHU FC, the Thunderbolts in blue, facing off against TSIRANG FC in their stark red and yellow. A beautiful contrast that capped off their most recent campaign with a win over in their first match at home. Despite the promise of Tenda in that lineup, couldn't really see that. But no matter, we move on, and here is the starting 11 for THIMPHU FC. Pramijay Gachada, their goalkeeper, back at 25 as always. Tinch Gelson, their captain. Richard Wilson, a hat-trick versus UA in a 4-2 victory over at Ugin Academy Artificial Turf, is starting this time around as well at number 10. That was ring 14, got his starting spot back. Stefan Abeku, 20. Udoka Ebowo, 22. Jimoch, 29. William Aseidu, the Ghanaian, who made his debut last time around, 42, alongside Chizoba Christopher, 52. The 6-foot Nigerian, who had a goal inside the first 3 minutes, alongside Tinsnamge, 67, and Tinchan Neo, 99, for the Thunderbolts. As for Tsirang, it is Antonio Dylan da Silva. As always, no surprise, 41. Their captain, John Payne Sasha, number 5. Afizalo Oladipo, number 9. Singawachu, 10. Rinchanamge, 11. Okutili Michael, 14. Alex Willen, 21. Tampi Ernest opened the scoring versus Tensung, 23. Kinzang Sirik, 24. Stephen Stalin, their side's leading goal scorers with 4 goals to his name, 25. And Adash Vijay. His health seems to be back in tip-top form. Started that last match versus Tensung, is continuing on with that as well. Tsirang did miss his presence in that wing-back possession, his height and his heart, which oftentimes, more often than not, got more physical than necessary, but was a necessary condition for Tsirang to hold out in a lot of surprise wins. And the referees for today will be Pema Tsong, assisted by Hastabadu Rai and Tanin Tsering. The 4th official for today will be Wang Chen. Again, a reminder to our viewers and to our fans as to what is at stake. In the past couple of match days, we have so far seen 2 changes. And the top of the table, BFF Academy, once league leaders, dethroned first by Paro FC, and since then halted again by THIMPHU City, who find themselves up on top above Paro and BFF, who both share 10 points. It is THIMPHU City with 11. Tsirang today come into this match with 9 points to their name and 4th in the rankings, and very well the opportunity to get to the top of the table despite barely hanging on last time around, last season. This time they have a very likely odds of getting themselves up at the top of the table, as a moment and an occasion their fans have been longing to celebrate for a long time coming. Both teams are in brilliant form. THIMPHU FC, with their new signings, the Nigerian and the Ghanaian, have found winning ways again. So today will be a battle for the ages. So hopefully we are not disappointed. The countdown is alive as we await the whistle to kick things off. And there it is at the kickoff. Afizalo Oladipo, former THIMPHU City forward, former Transport United forward, this time around taking his talents to Tsirang. Not quite as impactful as we are familiar with, but still has been a crucial presence up front. His partnership, especially with Tsirang's new signing, Okutili Michael, has been a dangerous partnership given the muscle and the weight advantage they have over most of their defenders. They have truly found their formula for goals up front in these 2 burly physiques. Another creative maestro they recruited was Alex Willen in that trio of Fofana, Oladipo and Alex Willen, 21, who has been crucial this time around. No drop in form from his Grizzly days. As the first touches for the new signing, Chizoba Christopher, the Nigerian, last time around got us a goal inside the first 3 minutes. Equal expectations this time around, but it is against a much more difficult backline again. Last time, their last match versus Tensung, did not have the giant in the backline. The captain Sompunso for Tensung not playing in that match, not even on the bench as it was an away game over at Tsirang. And his presence, his towering ability, missed to its fullest output, as this time around THIMPHU gets a decent shot off. Smart choice using the width on that opportunity as Williams can't quite get past John Payne. Sasha was a handball there right in front of the assistant. Almost got away with it. But a follow-up has been made, and taking it is 42, William Opoku Asidu. The Ghanaian signing for THIMPHU, who delivers it right towards Antonio Da Silva. No mistakes this time around from the goalkeeper, but there is a man down inside. And the referee Pematong heading over to get some evaluations in. Chizoba Christopher A. Kobe couldn't have asked for a more solid debut than what he had for the Thunderbolts. A goal inside the first 3 minutes. Right at the cusp of the 2-minute and the 3-minute mark that time around. But this time has passed the time. Can't really expect performances of that caliber and coincidences simply lining up in your favor all the time. Definitely alongside BFF Academy, TSIRANG has been one of the underdog stories of the season here in the BoB Bhutan Premier League in the men's division. In the start of the season, they were fighting off position at the bottom of the table alongside Tensung and Ugan Academy. But since then, that has become a distant memory. Right now in bottom place is Ugan Academy, joined by Tensung at 4 points. Transport United right above at 6, tied by the Thunderbolts at 7th and 8th. So a win here today from THIMPHU FC will make the burden on their shoulders very much lighter. They have been recently promoted, and they will not want to get relegated immediately afterwards. They are making a couple of key changes to their squads time and time again, finding the correct personnel and roster that best favors the ideas for head coach Raj. As the Thunderbolts look to drive it right down the middle, Chizoba can't quite get a header in. It is Tampianis who flicks it over to that left, and now the first solid opportunity from THIMPHU will be denied by Antonio Da Silva. Early on in that decider for first place between THIMPHU City and BFF Academy, in which THIMPHU City broke through Danapinjo quite a lot. It was those similar setups. Look at that shot again. Similar setups led through Thor in goal for BFF Academy. But Richard Wilson will have to do much more than that. No question, no doubt with regards to his form. He is coming off of a fresh hat-trick. Saw a drought in the first 3 games for THIMPHU, but since then has managed to convert a lot of goals, and with that hat-trick has found himself tied in 3rd place. Alongside 25 in the rival squad today, Stefan Stolin and Yuta Mishima from Paro FC, tied at 4 goals to their name in their campaign so far. Scoring leader right now is Rinzin Doji, who finds himself separated from the rest of the pack, up at 7 goals. Next closest is Taiga Kitachima from Paro FC at 5. Nice to see the youngster and Brini's future dragon on top of that as well find himself favorable footing up top. As Singhe, despite being positioned up front, had a struggling start finding conversions for himself. Struggled to find assists as well. Instead of simply leaving it up to fate, he decided to work his heart out. But now the other way around, Richard Wilson off to Sancho Kelton, and what a save there by Antonio Da Silva. Plenty of power from that casual flick, and the goalkeeper as well. Look at that, simply a casual flick, but put so much power behind that ball. And Antonio da Silva hung just enough in the air to put a palm underneath that ball. And after that, close call. THIMPHU looking to follow up again. Teju Gelson gets the first contact. Close call on that follow-up. But no conversion yet. CG7 getting himself involved quite early on. Not looking to leave it up to last minute gambles here in this match. Again, a lot at stake. THIMPHU FC, given the promises they have made to their fans, especially with the return of the Bhutanese legend, our own CG7. Hopes have dwindled quite a lot since their first promises, as Neo this time looks to make a solid delivery. But too much loft on that ball. It will fly way past Chizoba. Posted right up on that edge of the 6-yard box. And it will be Antonio Dillon to send it the other way around. Udoka playing a bit more up front this time around. Does have Tinsnamgia covering for him, who has been solid. Both teams, a huge chunk of their roster spots going towards foreign signings. TSIRANG, on the other hand, has been one of the few teams to fully utilize their foreigner spots. 5 foreign signings, bolstered by 3 regional signings. And they are playing the minimal number of Bhutanese players allowed right now on the field is Rinchanamge Singhiwanshu and Kinzang Tsering. Kinzang off to Singhe. Tsirang looking brilliant on defense, but right now they can't find an option up front for Michael and Oladipo. It has been THIMPHU, especially Richard Wilson, constantly testing deep waters, as this time he gets off a solid lob and a header from Chizoba. Almost got in. But the sting taken off the ball will not have enough momentum to get right in the way. Brilliant danger. And the hunger to get in the air for that ball, which looked like it was beyond any hope of recovering. The Thunderbolts are taking it slow. Their options, especially down that left flank and even on that right with Tincho Neo, are delivering with a lot of promise. The second critical opportunity they've got in, but this time thrown away, as now sent back the other side with far too much space for Oladipo to even dream about getting anywhere near it. Again, a closer look at that, a nonchalant swing of that foot. But Dumpy Ernest right in the way. Dillon was beaten, but 23 stood his ground, sent it right back out. Again, early impact here from Chizoba Christopher Ikobe. As TSIRANG FC. Tencho. Almost a costly slip there from the captain, John Payne Sasha. And now Dillon will send it off to that right. Stalin, challenge from behind, will send him to the ground. Udoka. A lot of options posted up front. Richard does well, earning that whistle from the referee. Again, Adash Vijay on that right. Time and time again, he has been a bit more physical than necessary, and time again, it has worked against him. He will need to calm himself down going forward as THIMPHU get a solid lob into Gelson. A header put it right in the way of Stefan Abeku, but couldn't find the follow-up to get it past Antonio Dillon, who had the first read on Sencho's header. Up to Alex Willen, gets a flick off towards Michael. Sencho Gelson helping out in that defensive effort. Michael, no mistake from the big man this time around. It is up to Singhe. Not many threats from the flanks. TSIRANG and their primary source of danger and goal conversions are right down the middle, which THIMPHU FC seem to have figured out. They are committing to 3 defenders whenever Michael and Oladipo both are inside that final third. Has a late challenge on Sencho. This time sent down, and a yellow card early on for Okutili Michael. Again, have to respect the hustle from the big man in trying to get that ball, but a bit too reckless on that challenge. No. One of the few talents alongside head coach Raj. Did see a couple in their qualifiers as well. Absorbed from THIMPHU FC, who were relegated last season and has since been dissolved. As Okutili Michael puts forth a decent challenge. Pramijagachadar was in the air in case it ever got on target. But as they are not getting those drives in as much as they would like, decent decision to at least get yourselves accustomed to those sorts of shots. We have seen a lot of conversions in that lead deciding match between THIMPHU City and BFF Academy. We did see a lot of challenges, a lot of decent strikes from both the youngsters and THIMPHU City as well, who put forth amazing strikes from distance. So we do know that in this league we have a lot of players who have that skill in their arsenal if they ever want to go for it. And right now, if the guys in TSIRANG FC have that one hidden somewhere in their sleeve, this will be the match where they will want to show it off. Because right now their forwards are being locked down. And the pressure the other way is not helping as Sencho gets a decent delivery in. But the header will go back towards Stefan Stolin and TSIRANG. Missed pass there from Stefan. Sencho Gelson positioned quite decently enough to get at the end of it. As the Thunderbolts look to play it safe, they are slowly baiting TSIRANG's defense, stretching them thinner by the second as Chisoka on that right got off a shot, but it will go off of Kinzang Tsering for yet another Thunderbolt corner. Solid delivery clipped by the Thunderbolt, sent back the other way. Stefan Abeku knocked down. Apologies, Udoka. Udoka is still down. A closer look at that. Alex Willen in the air, looked like the left knee clipped the quads of Udoka. But no foul intent. It will resume with the throw-in for TSIRANG. Struggling to get a solid clearance off, stolen off by William. But too much pressure on that possession. Couldn't quite find the freedom to get any sort of meaningful build-up in. And it will now be up to Kinjang Tsering to find his target. Olawale Oladipo right on the line. Michael posted up on the flank. Rinchen Namgyal. Header sends it right back out to Singhe. Well, at least it was promising for the first couple of seconds of that build-up. Not the delivery head coach Pema will want from their boys. Was a solid build-up right towards the edge of the goalkeeper's box. But hey, plenty more time for football to build up. Plenty more time for TSIRANG to work out a formula to get one in. Alex. Singhe. Rinchen. Ambitious first touch there, but couldn't quite time it right. A bit too off on the contact as we are steadily building up the presence here at Changlemetang. Favorable weather here today as well. Williams. Now off to the wing. Well, not quite sure what to call that instance of frustration and panic. But it does award TSIRANG yet another opportunity to get something going, but too much ambition there from Okutili, Michael and Thunderbolts. Remain unpunished on their mistakes, which are building on and on. TSIRANG. Okutili Michael matched up against Sincho Neo. Delivery inside Dao Tsering. Plenty of pressure on that outlet. But THIMPHU will play calm. Sincho Kelson. Miss pass right towards Adash VJ. Anyone's ball. Williams climbs over Stefan Stalin. And earns Thunderbolts yet another possession. Tenjo. A compact block for TSIRANG. Will not allow too many options past, and Tenjo had to choose the most awkward one to proceed with. Solid press. Plenty of pressure, but Antonio Tillin. Not quite the end result he wanted, but it is not a mistake as well. Thunderbolts forced to retreat and regroup from a much farther position than up early on. TSIRANG has been on the back foot for a solid while. 20 minutes of sheer domination from THIMPHU, except for a couple of lucky breaks for the southern side. As again, Okutili Michael, the big man, attempting a bit too much flair for his body to handle, as a clean challenge from Adash VJ will knock that ball right out of the legs of Sincho Kelson. And now back the other way, Alex Willen. Singhe. Daw. Despite looking dangerous time and time again, Typically, the smart move here would be to let the hot feet drive it through, which right now is the case for THIMPHU FC through Richard Wilson, who has been making solid runs. He has been putting Adash VJ time and time again in a blender, which has opened up that left flank for so many deliveries time and time again. Chizoka and Sinchi Kelson both getting solid chances off of Richard Wilson. Have not tried again since then. They are forcing it from the other flanks and right down the middle to Sinchi Kelson. But hey, at least great to see the confidence that they have in their personnel. But not quite sure if that will last for long. TSIRANG does have possession on the right flank and a heavy challenge in the way. Forces out a throw-in. Not many options. TSIRANG a bit too late to regroup as well. Couldn't forward any passing lanes there for Stefan Solden to work with. But the brilliance from 25 has been his ability to get a proper dribble off this time. Alex Willen launches off a prayer which goes far off for a deep throw-in. Acrobatic clearance there, but it did go the other way. Sinch Kelson now in the middle. Stefan Abeku. Dawa. On the left, Richard Wilson mashed up against Adash VJ. This time we'll get a decent delivery in. But too much power will discourage the attack from proceeding any further. Solid defending this time around from Adash VJ. Despite losing the first tip, managed to get back in time to put enough pressure on Richard Wilson to misjudge the strength behind that delivery. As Tenzin Namgyal one over on the depot. Had his hands up a bit too late there. And now TSIRANG will get the chance from a really favorable range. We have seen no shortages of efforts from these ranges and farther beyond. And we have seen plenty of conversions as well. The only question now is, does TSIRANG have anything in their arsenal that will help us see a goal, be it from a cross or be it from an attempt from that range? Well, there's the whistle. Run up and it will go far off into the traffic, far and out beyond the parking. Well, we have to at least respect the effort there from Rinchen Namgyal, despite how it turned out, and it will be THIMPHU FC to play it back the other way around. Driven right down the middle, Richard Wilson, his burst of pace is pretty dangerous. As Dylan, despite the first slip, will get his hands on the ball in that follow-up. Tremendous explosiveness on that run early on from Richard Wilson. Again, is coming off of a 3-goal high for his campaign this time around. And now the other way, Michael off that pirouette gets it off to Alex Willen, who can't quite get the juke on Tenzin Namgyal. Solid defending there from the THIMPHU back line, but they will have to fight off one more wave of attack as Rinchen Namgyal this time around held out on his bar way too much. Singhe can't quite get that header in control. And now THIMPHU. Solid throw in. Will poke it right back out to THIMPHU Ernest. Neo got a solid challenge in on Alex Willen. Wasn't quite expecting it, but it does work out somehow. Anyone's ball in the middle to fight off. Michael posted up, makes it a difficult header for the Thunderbolts to get one in as St. Kelsen. Neo. Throw in played short. Alex challenge on St. Kelsen. Final touch. CG7 and now throwing back the other way. Kinzang looking to restart it quite quickly. St. Neo buying as many seconds as possible for his sides to get their breath in and recover. Oladipo posted up against St. Neo. Kinzang gets that delivery, which is headed off by Udoka. Alex Willen on the cleanup. First step finds him space, but tripped on that final challenge. And a decent effort this time around from TSIRANG, forcing off a solid save by Pramijay Gachadar. And it will be a corner for TSIRANG. Again, this time around, after those two attempts from Rinchanamgas, seems to have gotten his calibrations right. TSIRANG posted up at the edge of the box inside the 6-yard is only Singhe. An option short is Kinzang. It will be a delivery back post. Pramijay gets a punch in and overhead from TSIRANG will not find enough power. Adash Vijay. His effort denied and TSIRANG will get a throw in right from the halfway line. Stefan will try out the left flank this time. Gets a clean pass over to Kinzang. They do have options. Delivery is solid. But the header went right down to the ground. Took most of the pace off of that effort. But still had plenty left in that effort to get it right off the hands of Pramijay and off for yet another TSIRANG corner. The southern side are definitely heating up as time progresses. We are at the 30-minute mark. Still scoreless. But can TSIRANG change the storyline we have here right now at Chang Limitang? But this time will not be the opportunity, as now it is a goal kick for THIMPHU FC. THIMPHU. Quick counter attack. CG7 cuts right in, but too heavy of a touch with that right foot. Rolls it right in the middle of nowhere, and the first to get to it is Antonio Dylan da Silva. Had their hopes and dreams of the fans come alive for nothing, as we are still tied up in a deadlock between the two teams. 0-0 the storyline. As now TSIRANG in red take it the other way round. Singhe off to Alex Willen. He has been given plenty of space. Finally the closure on that window of opportunity, but the outlet towards Kinzang TSIRANG will keep hopes alive. Delivery back, header flicked right back off. Stefan Solin looking for the follow-up, but will pass it right towards Tower, who is not in red, by the way. And now Richard Wilson getting to abuse his pace on that left flank. Almost saw that Gareth Bale run here over at Chung Limitang, but this time not quite enough pace to actually mirror that occasion. Was a solid effort though, as Richard Wilson couldn't quite keep it alive. And now on the other end, look at Tencho Gelson. You will not get that privilege here from Pematsewang. You can't expect to simply stop play and get the whistle of your own accord. And now the other way, a solid header there. Oladipo, decent effort, but got that ball a bit too under.
투비가 없었지.
Stefan Abeku off towards Wilson. Inside is William. William, decent effort. But Antonio Da Silva was flying in the air as well, committing to that effort. No goals for the new Ghanaian signing for THIMPHU FC so far. But does not look like it will stay that way for long, as both teams looking to get themselves going. It is a harsh challenge from St. Junio on Okutili Michael. On the wing back, St. Junio must be having fun with an opponent who has an equal amount of mass as he has. Typically, he really loves putting his weight to work against much younger opposition, but this time around does seem to have met his match. Saw his campaign start off playing up front alongside Tench Kelson, but 2 games in moved on that wing back position where he has respectably earned his starting minutes. And now it is THIMPHU. Deep inside TSIRANG territory. They have had a lot of chances being created for their side. On that flank this time, they will look to get a decent delivery in, but off the head, it will be a corner for the Thunderbolts. A lot of bodies in the way, no contact. The final touch is Stefan Beku. Again, too far back to get a decent angle on that delivery, but did work with what he had. Had he been a couple meters up front, well, would have been a different story. But again, this is the game that we love. So many what ifs, all boiling down to that one instance of brilliance that gives us reason to celebrate. But until we reach that moment, it will be 90 minutes of pure banter and chaos amongst ourselves. St. Junio pass it in towards St. Kelson, but that pass will roll right out. Throw in for TSIRANG. Tenzin, brilliant read getting to that ball before Oladipo could. But it is forced out. Throw in still for TSIRANG. Kinzang does have Rinchin down low, but he throws it right towards the head of his own teammate, who wasn't really expecting that ball. Okudili Michael, not quite the best awareness you would like to have from your players, but it does roll right back for a goal kick from their own goalkeeper. Well, at least we have to be grateful that it wasn't a full-powered bullet from your boot towards the face. Now we know that hurts. Michael has dropped deep, but Richard Wilson has been flagged offside and has been denied the sight of seeing that ball roll right in towards the nets. Easy call there for the linesman. No debate with that one. John Payne, Sasha, Michael. Alex Willen. Tampy Ernest off to John Payne, Sasha. They have settled out wide. TSIRANG look to find an opportunity on that left. It is Oladipo versus Tenzin Namgay, who is Pete. TSIRANG couldn't quite hold on to it for long enough. And taking no risks. Tenzin Namgay will roll it right out. Look at that timing. Got that ball right in its stride. Oladipo, no chance on that follow-up as Saint Neo this time around again gets in the way of that throw-in between Kinzang and Oladipo, as now Saint-Joe Kelson, Adash VJ is beat. Richard Wilson one-on-one. Inside is Tampy Ernest. Not many targets to work with. William will play it safe and back out. Chizoba and Saint-Joe Kelson, the targets inside. Tao Tsering this time in possession. Stefan Nabeku back to Tawa. Lobbed right up. Saint-Joe Neo has a lot of space. Well, simply dared to try again by the opposition captain. As this time around, Chizoba gets a decent delivery in towards Saint-Joe Kelson, who was diving to get an effort in. As Saint-Joe Kelson with that header keeps it alive for William, who will not have the final touch. Solid defending there from Adash VJ. Got his foot clean and timed to perfection on that ball. And the Thunderbolts steadily gaining momentum, handing possession right back over to them. Probably won't not be the smartest decision TSIRANG will make, because if we have seen anything constant in this league, it has been that the team that attempts more gets more in. As Saint-Joe Kelson with a missile, but simply off target. Got plenty of power generated on that turnaround, but couldn't quite tame it enough to keep it under the crossbar. Again, a closer look at that. Tampy Ernest beat on the first spin, and John Payne Sasha couldn't quite get there in time to challenge the shot. But the mind games were all that mattered. Did was enough of a deterrence in that shot to force it off target. As now Stefan Stalin will lob it right up. Okudili Michael, a heavy touch there, and Saint-Joe Neo boxing him out. Only something you would see in the basketball match, but this time brought over here to the grounds at Changlimitang. As Saint-Joe Neo working those muscles to his fullest capacity, and will need to do so indeed. Typically, we see Okudili Michael bullying his opposition, but this time around he is on the receiving end of it. And also, we haven't really seen the flair that Okudili Michael will need to operate on that flank. Typically, he's a bulldozer you'd expect, posted right down the middle alongside Oladipo. blitzing those centre backs. But this time, Singhe will be enough to win that whistle on that challenge from Udoka or BoB. And now TSIRANG feeling like deja vu here. Pretty sure that was the same spot that they got their earlier effort, which Rinchen Namge sent far off into the tennis courts with. But this time taking it looks like it will be Stefan Solin. It is TSIRANG's leading goal scorer, has 4 to his name. And it will stay at 4 as that ball sent far out again. A similar effort to earlier. And safe in the hands of the Thunderbolts. Solid pass there. Michael holds on to it this time. Gets that outlet towards Rinchen, who may have had a touch too heavy, but it will work in his favor. That left flank has opened up quite a bit as Alex Willen drives in past Sinchenio. Gets that final delivery in with that left foot, but right towards the chest of the defender who was in the way. THIMPHU Kelson calm there, manages to get past Singhe. And now in the middle, Chisoba. Off to the left, Richard Wilson helping out. He does have a lot of teammates. Still fighting off for possession. John Payne Sasha knocked right off his boots. THIMPHU Kelson, left foot from Chisoba. Brilliant defending there by TSIRANG. Fought off so many lethal chances coming their way and still managed to come out on top with possession. Always love to see these efforts. As now Michael will set off. Singhe has been having a stellar couple of minutes. Those step overs did not really work, but at least he does keep possession as Rinchen. This time delivery intercepted by Sinchenio. Header back the other way. And back to Sinchenio it is. Sencho, William, only seconds until we see the signal for additional time. So far we have seen many teams come out with heroics in these last couple of seconds before we reach closure. And now only 1 minute to work with. It is the Thunderbolts in possession. THIMPHU will play it through Udoka. Right in the middle. Richard Wilson asking for help. Couldn't time that run, but they do still have possession. Chisoba lobbed it high and above towards Richard Wilson, but too far off as TSIRANG will look to go on the counter offensive in the few seconds they have left. Dylan passed precisely towards Alex Willen, and now Kinzang it is. Back to Alex Willen, not much time to work with. Oladipo can't quite win that duel. It is THIMPHU who comes out on top. Tawa. Seconds, all they need. Richard Wilson, challenge from behind, will poke it towards Singhe. Any second now until the referee decides that this is it. TSIRANG will have to make things quick. Adash Vijay towards Rinchen. Stefan now on that left, and that may very well be it as we have the whistle to signal the end of a brilliant first half. Couldn't quite see any conversions. But we did see plenty of back and forth, and as both teams came so close
Halftime score we have
to
is
coming out on top
0-1.
with the lead and with the opener, but right now simply couldn't find an answer as we enter the halftime break with THIMPHU FC nil and TSIRANG FC nil. Plenty of heroics from both goalkeepers, Pramijay for THIMPHU and Antonio Dillon for TSIRANG. But it is those conversions from those forwards that we want to see. So hopefully there are some changes being made. Until then, this was your commentator, Ugintesh Tochi. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for your interactions. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do go subscribe to the pages on Facebook as well. Until then, see you guys in the second half.
Big news for our BT Airfiber family. You can now manage and recharge your Airfiber packages directly through the My BT app. It's simple. Just head to Build Payment, select BT Enterprise,
Oh, oh, oi. Yeah, yeah. 아, 이리 태도고 있어. 와, 누가 다 봐. Ogaj bin dilusu wa. Me ngiri. Ang sumuro gila belum ni dah. Quando lo stesso anche game lebih umum gitu. 게임 오픈 사람도 있어. 아니면
Substitution for TSIRANG FC, just number 14, Obudili is replaced by just number 7, Tenzin Wanga.
Doesn't it you? 没有的，那怎么对写成了？你说什么？哇，이게 많이 좋네요. 나 이부지가 다 보내요. 어? 이부지가 다 보내 있어. 제시 가르친 동생. 어? 다 아스테미가 앞에 있어요. Tadi kalau kurang zucuni sih, kasih beli lu soal, use beli lu. 뭐인가 게임 뭐? 아? 뚝지.
Well, our sincerest apologies. I was talking all this time until we realized that the mic was not working. But do let me know if it's back up and online. Well, seems like the mic is okay this time around. Did not really miss much except for the last few seconds where Richard Wilson almost got the opener. And also with regards to what is being picked up with the ground mic, we can't really help it. THIMPHU Kelson now with the run up. First header is by TSIRANG. Olawale Oladipo made Singh wait for far too long. Was a perfect situation to get that 2v1 and into that opener for TSIRANG. But it will not go the way they want. And now back the other way. Richard Wilson towards Tower. William. THIMPHU Kelson. Winding out. That fake does get Singh to bite. It does give a lot of space for Stefan Abeku to get a pass in. But a bit too heavy on that touch. Singh clearance interrupted by THIMPHU Kelson. A silent stretch after that burst of fire early on from both sides. Had the crowd on the edge of their seats. But no surprise in the disappointments that followed from both teams. And this time it will be up to TSIRANG to get an answer in. THIMPHU FC are posted strong. They will get a follow-up on that throw-in. This time Olawale Oladipo posted deep. But a bit too late on that turnaround. It will go right out as a substitution is underway for THIMPHU FC. Coming out is Chimionchu. Coming in is Karmador Jiwanchu for the Thunderbolts. Neo. Off to Doka. Both teams have come alive in the last couple of seconds with a life we hadn't seen in the entirety of the first half. The only question is, can they keep this form up? Because despite the failures they've met so far, it does feel like if they keep trying on and on, sometime soon they will be rewarded, as this time around THIMPHU Kelson with that burst up front is met with a serious challenge from behind by Tampi Ernest, and solid goalkeeping from up front by Antonio Dylan da Silva was clutching at his left foot early on. Hopefully he is back in tip-top form as THIMPHU look to mount another wave up front. William played safe, intercepted. TSIRANG now to Alex William Oladipo, all the space in the world right down the middle. Possession still alive for TSIRANG as Oladipo poked it right down the line past the goalkeeper. As a solid opportunity comes to a close yet again. Alex Willen could have set it up more suitably for Oladipo, but that pass simply set him up far too back, gave enough time for the defense to regroup. And from then on, not many options left, given the fact that he is all alone up front. And now TSIRANG in shambles. Solid footwork from Richard Wilson, but that shot, despite the swerve, had too much power to find the back of the net and the top corners as well. Again, a closer look at that. Adash Vijay put in a blender by Richard Wilson. Again, had a shaky first couple of games. but recently has been in his peak form and ability, and it has been helping their run quite a lot. Despite their promise, THIMPHU FC not quite in the spot where they want to be. They are placed 7th right now, tied alongside Transport United at 6 points, only 3 points away from bottom place Ugan Academy. TSIRANG on the other hand 3 points forward, up at 4th place, as THIMPHU FC and the Thunderbolts look to fight through the drudges of bottom table here in the BoB Bhutan Premier League. On the other hand, TSIRANG very well the opportunity to give us the third lead change up at the top of the table in the BoB Bhutan Premier League. First was BFF Academy. Since then they have been dethroned by Paro, and more recently in their second campaign since restarting from the international break, dethroned again by THIMPHU City, who have placed themselves up on the top at 11 points. And TSIRANG at 9 may very well find themselves up at the top if they can find a goal in somehow. Because I have a weird feeling that one goal will be all it takes to end the storyline here today, given the repeated failures both teams are having in their chances. Neo held on quite strong, but that right flank has left a lot of space for Stalin to work with, but solid defending there from Udoka. The intimidation a real factor in shutting off that attack. As City take a cheeky restart there, but the referee signaling the spot where they are supposed to get that restart off. Back to Pramijay. Again, primary contributors of the scoreless bout we have here right now, past the hour mark at Changlemetang, are the goalkeepers on both sides. They have denied time and time again so many efforts from their opposition. Pramijay and Antonio Dillon, both remarkable in their performance today. As Sencho Kelson looks like he was tripped, but the referee is right up there, and he allows play to build on. As this time, no whistle. Yet again, now back the other way. This time the whistle on Tampianis on his challenge. Again, a look at that earlier challenge. Had a foot in, but did not look like there was necessarily any contact. And since Gelson. But it is still THIMPHU who now have that left flank. Richard Wilson has been on fire all game long despite seeing nothing convert for him. As Karma plays it towards Sencho Kelson. Attempt still alive as Williams sends it right off and above the crossbar. Off of the chaos created by the sheer gravity of Sencho Kelson. It did leave just enough space for that left foot to fly through. And look at that form again from Antonio Dillon da Silva. Always nice to see goalkeepers at least get an effort in towards any strike, no matter how hopeless it may seem. And now Oladipo. Not many friends to work with. It is Singh who gets off an unfortunate stumble. Stefan Solin on that right, but that pass will fly off towards Adash Vijay. Adash on the throw-in. THIMPHU have compacted themselves, not many options. But a flick from Alex Willen towards Rinchan Namge, who gets that left foot off right towards the arms of Pramijay, who launches off an immediate counter-attack on that right flank. Both teams not slowing down at all. We are way past the hour mark at the 67th minute this time. And both teams no answers to the many questions put forth towards each other. Flicked right in, but William couldn't time that jump, couldn't even leave the ground. And now Stefan Stolin plays it right back towards Alex Willen. Driven right through the middle towards Singhe, but intercepted by Udoka. Stefan Abeku now off towards Chizoba. Tencho Kelson. Only 5 to beat. THIMPHU. Their man disadvantage, not looking as stark as it did early on. But that delay will give TSIRANG the chance they need to regroup. Tencho Kelson, solid first touch. Gets it right down the middle. Tawa. Chizoba timing that run on that left flank, but THIMPHU will not be able to get that delivery in for that final contact. Dylan, a header, sends it right back towards Richard Wilson, who manages to get a poke in towards William. Tencho Kelson it is. Lobs it high, but John Payne, Sasha with the positioning to get right under that ball. But danger still not averted. Tampi Ernest sends it towards Singhe. Challenge coming in from behind. St. John Neo timed that run to perfection, but will not get it back, as TSIRANG will let it roll for a goal kick from Antonio Dillon. Again, a reminder to our fans as to what is at stake for both teams right now. A draw will help neither. Richard Wilson. Well, solid effort there. Couldn't quite beat Dylan. But again, a draw for TSIRANG will mean that they still remain fourth, but they enter a tightly congested top four as they bring themselves level up against Paro FC and BFF, who have 10 points each. TSIRANG right now at 9. 1 point will bring them up to 10. A win here, however, for them will see them at the top of the table, as a solid strike simply swerved off target. Alex Willen almost got a knock-knock surprise in. Look at that attempt again. Premije was in the air as well. And a couple of words from the referee. Dawa. TSIRANG riding on the momentum of that shot from Alex Willen. They are looking to get one in. Richard Wilson off balance, but that whistle will go in favor of the Thunderbolts. Solid sell there by Richard Wilson. Got that call right in, and a quick restart tonight by the referee. Wants a proper start to that possession. On the set piece is Stefan Abeku for THIMPHU. Solid delivery. It is played right in. Tencho Kelson couldn't quite find a form against Tampi Ernest, and an overhead clearance from John Payne. Sasha will set it right up front for Singhe. All he had to do was put a simple pass in up front for Olewale Oladipo. Yet another crucial chance wasted for TSIRANG. Again, these boys will have to realize that top of the table is within reach. And up front, they are not really playing like it, as THIMPHU get a decent delivery in. Richard Wilson, back post, gets it right down the middle. William, shot deflected and blocked off by Tampy Ernest. As THIMPHU fighting desperately for possession. Do earn it right back in midfield. Richard Wilson let loose on that left. Yet again, one-on-one situation. Right footed. THIMPHU Kelson got in the way of THIMPHU Neo. And a follow-up off target as well. Again, a closer look at that. Richard Wilson completely unselfish. THIMPHU Neo almost had that, but THIMPHU Kelson got in the way. And from the other flank, despite the tightness of that angle, still forced it in, and THIMPHU lose yet another opportunity. Desperation becoming ever so evident across both sides as the time simply ticks on. A bit more than quarter of an hour left. It is THIMPHU in possession. Delivered right down the middle. First header, Alex Willen. And now back the other way as THIMPHU play off an ambitious long ball. Delayed that offside flag for as long as he could. But Udoka will have to get right back to position. Stefan Stolin. Again, TSIRANG has faced so many tests where they simply outshone their opponent, came back and clawed their way back with equalizers and goals that gave them leads. Evidence versus Ugan Academy was down until they made a desperate run in the second half that netted them 3 goals and 3 points. On the other hand, THIMPHU, a lot of expectations after coming out on top in the qualifiers, and their social media presence has given their fans all the hype in the world to believe in. It was a rough start, started off with a loss, but since then has put forth so many upsets. A spectacular win even against RTC right here in Changlimitang, with fantastic heroics from THIMPHU Kelson. And on top of that, they simply have bolstered the personnel they had that got them those wins in the first place. And right now, all we need is for these players to simply mesh together and create that one moment of brilliance, which we may very well be on the cusp of, as Richard Wilson after THIMPHU Kelson. A solid effort and slapped away by Antonio Dylan da Silva. A closer look at that flick by THIMPHU Kelson, nowhere near any of his teammates, but the effort on that recovery from Karma Dorjiwanchu to even get a shot in. Preparing to come in is Som Jugdrol Chazang for THIMPHU, but they have decided to delay it for this corner, as THIMPHU will have to beat yet another solid defensive effort of TSIRANG. This time a header right, point blank, and the follow-up will be denied again by Antonio Dylan da Silva. Again, that first effort off the side post, it looks like, but the second one towards Dylan will be denied. Singhe making that effort to challenge Pramijay. No comfort there for the THIMPHU goalkeeper. And now TSIRANG in possession. Alex Willen right in the middle. Challenge from William. THIMPHU Ernest, off towards John Payne. Sasha might be a careless mistake there. St. Gelson. Right towards Dylan De Silva. A dangerous string of possessions. There's finally evaluations under there. Whistle for the downed John Payne Sasha. As it seems like substitutions finally underway. Somchuk drill. THIMPHU's wonder kid being brought in. For Chizoba Christopher. Again, still a lot of big names in the bench for the Thunderbolts. Kritesh Chunju and Eche Prince John. 2 foreign signings still on the bench for THIMPHU. TSIRANG on the other hand, only one substitution. It was Okodili Michael taken out for Tenzin Wangda. TSIRANG's number 7. John Payne seems to be back on his feet, and back it is to Antonio Tillin to get that motion rolling for TSIRANG. This time, an ambitious drive right down the middle towards no one in particular. Will be recovered quite cleanly by Alex Willens. Stumbles, still manages to get a brilliant pirouette in on that left Wangda. Wanting a call from the referee, but right up in front decides it was clean. St. Neo plays it long right in the middle, stolen off by Rinchen. They will have to fight off William, who does a clean job sending it right back. St. Gelson putting plenty of pressure there on the TSIRANG goalkeeper as well, and it will go out for a throw-in for the Thunderbolts. A closer look at that run on that left again. Alex Willen almost lost his balance, but still managed to get a turnaround in and stolen right off Tenzin. On the left, Kamadou Juwanchu. Richard Wilson making a solid run. He will keep possession alive, but he will be taken out of the equation himself. It will be TSIRANG's to restart. Played out long, throw in from deep inside their own half. There's Namge. Not quite sure who the target was, but it is picked up by Dylan De Silva. Less than 10 minutes remain until the end of this match. Both teams looking to break the ice. So far, both teams plenty of chances and have been unsuccessful on top of that for every opportunity. As Stefan Stalin, solid chance there, but the touch not quite there. Somchuk drill, fortunate flick, sets it right up. William cuts right in, but no help this time around. Early on, there were too many inside that box, and this time there will be none for the Thunderbolts, who are fortunate enough to get that restart on that left flank. Decent delivery. Lets it roll. Kinzang Hera plays it right towards Alex Willen. Sencho Kelson, look at that burst of pace as Sencho Neo cleans it right up. Some juke drill off to Neo. And a powerful effort from the veteran is denied with authority by Antonio Da Silva, and it will go off for a THIMPHU corner. Again, look at that, the hustle and heart from Sencho Neo. And the right to launch off that shot with as much power as he could. As this time THIMPHU riding high, header sends it back the other way. However, it is cleaned up by Sencho Kelson. Taking on the assignment is Wangda, who will let it roll. Finally, things looking promising for TSIRANG. They do have the numbers. Singhe, a 3v1 helping out despite the slow build-up. Right in the middle. Stefan Solin. A follow-up on that deflection. Far too off wide. TSIRANG took their sweet time with that build-up despite having the 3v1 situation, which I'm sure they've practiced time and time again. Still denied the pleasure of the opening here at Changlimitang. THIMPHU taking matters into their own feet. William launches off one wide. Solid defending there from TSIRANG. Got plenty of bodies, 4 defenders in the way, I think. And it will be yet another corner for THIMPHU. The Thunderbolts now finally getting the support of their crowd, and with that they get a delivery right in the middle off of the chaos. Stefan Abeku. Well, not quite sure what the thought process was for Antonio De Silva there. In a moment of sheer panic, sent it right towards the 6-yard box as a follow-up right there, and no mistakes from the goalkeeper. Still in a deadlock. Again, a closer look at that. Looked like it bounced right off of the body of Stefan Abeku, as now TSIRANG get the opportunity, but Olawale Oladipo has been flagged offside. Oladipo gets a yellow card from the referee, but is down himself. The situation getting desperate for both sides, but it is in these tests that you have a hero and a star shine through. Well, not that it is looking likely that we will see one here today, but from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely hope that we see a breakthrough from either side today. As Adash Vijay gets a header right back off towards his own goalkeeper. Antonio De Silva drives it right down the middle. Stefan Abeku keeps it alive for TSIRANG. Plenty of fakes, but might have held on to it for too long. Too much flair if it was going to end in that manner altogether. Alex Willen snatches it right off the air, but Tensha Neo enough pressure to force that error. Tenzin sends it back the other way, right down the middle. Adash Vijay, header, right back out. Stefan Abeku. And now Stefan Solin, TSIRANG's leading scorer, missing in action today. Hasn't been able to get anything going for him. But at this point, less than 5 minutes should be plenty of time for these teams to at least get a decent chance in. Dampi Ernest. Flag the other way, throw in it will be for Tenshin Neo. Brilliant challenge on that throw in by Alex Willen. Sincha Gelson, the recipient of that pass, but enough of a challenge there from behind by the opposition captain, John Payne Sasha, who does a brilliant job the second time around as well. Richard Wilson making a decent run. But solid defending there by both John Payne Sasha and THIMPHU. Ernest did not let Richard get a single touch in. And now back the other way from Dylan De Silva. Neo gets a header in, can't quite keep it under control as TSIRANG launches it right back out towards Pramijay. Sacrificing so many critical chances. As now Tinch Kelson. Decent delivery. Wilson, too heavy of a touch there. And a handball, as unfortunate it may be, will signal the end of that possession. Brilliant flick there from THIMPHU Ernest. Put Richard Wilson in deep trouble. Also, to our viewers who tuned in right now, a reminder as to what is at stake right now. TSIRANG fourth, right behind BFF Academy and Paro, who are tied at 10 points. TSIRANG has 9. Table leaders right now are THIMPHU City 11, which means that a win here today will take TSIRANG to the league leader position and atop the BoB Bhutan Premier League table. On the other hand, THIMPHU FC are fighting to stay out of the drudges. 7th place right now, tied alongside Transport United in 8th at 6 points. And beneath them are Tensung, who have 4, and Ugin Academy, who has 3. So a lot at stake. A draw here will help neither. TSIRANG will still remain 4th place. As for THIMPHU, they will only climb no spot and will tie themselves up with RTC, given the congestion we have in the league this time around. Somjutrul. William, shot deflected, sent right back out. Tawa. TSIRANG wanting that call, but they will get none. Neo taking it in himself, can't quite poke it out, but is fortunate to get that deflection off towards that side as John Payne Sasha puts his body in the way yet again, and the yellow card towards Singhe. Subs underway. Olawale Oladipo taken out. Coming in is Bijay Samal, who had that opening goal versus Ugin Academy over at Ugin Academy artificial turf, and 4 more minutes have been added. Tensions escalating. Couldn't have asked for a better scenario for someone to rise to the occasion amidst the sea of supporters here at Tang Limithang.
There will be 4 minutes of additional time.
Why? What do you mean?
Everybody expect that throw in from Neo to go right inside the box, given the javelin of an arm he has. And again, TSIRANG the chance to give us the 3rd leader change in a while, but THIMPHU having none of it. Somjutrul may have waited a bit too long. That wind-up took an eternity, and it gave TSIRANG plenty of time to work something out. And now on the counter-offensive, the Reds are moving forward. A lot of help. They will switch it up. Played right back out. Stefan Stalin, their leading goal scorer, looking to get an attempt in, but it will go far too low to present any sort of threat in. And a solid challenge from Adash BJ gets right in the way of that progression. Central Kelton, delivery towards that right flank, but this time misjudges the strength on that delivery. Two more minutes remain until the end of the match. Will we see drama Will we see disappointment when the referee decides that time is up right now? THIMPHU will want to deny TSIRANG and their progression. A draw will at least give them some sort of cushion far and away from Ugin Academy and Tensung, who are down at 9th and 10th in the league. As TSIRANG, Stefan Stalin right back out to Alex Willen. Alex Willen takes the stumble off on that challenge by Stefan Abeku, and the whistle will go towards TSIRANG. TSIRANG, now the opportunity to regroup, will let a lofted one in, a header. Now for Pramije. Gets a decent one in. Alex Willen looks like he will get it right off Tenchu Gelson, but the ricochet will send it back the other way round. Tenchu Gelson downed, but clean challenge. Kinzang. Tenchu Neo positioned right up in front of Vijay Samal, who can't quite get a whiff of that ball. And now Som Chukdril on the other flank, mashed up against Adarsh Vijay. Poked in with the outside. And a close goal as Tenchu Gelson almost got a foot in before the goalkeeper. Possibly running out of time unless TSIRANG can come up with a miracle. But it does look like THIMPHU will have the last say. Som Chukdril. Mistake goes unpunished. THIMPHU. William it is. Right at the edge. A lot of options cut right in, but a challenge time to perfection will send it out for a corner. Way past the time awarded. And THIMPHU now the opportunity to end the dreadful match with a smile, at least for one side. As a corner. Follow up. Volley will be off target, and that will be the end of this match. Too much pressure for these players down on the ground. But hats off to the goalkeepers from both sides for keeping it that way, as a yellow card after the whistle. This time on Tenzin Namgyal, not quite sure what happened. And a red card on Tenzin Namgyal for THIMPHU. A red card as tensions escalating. Tenzin Namgyal not liking what the referee had in store. 467 for THIMPHU. Well, now that has settled off, and Tenzin Namgyal is being escorted out to the sides. Well, again, hats off to the goalkeepers from both sides for making so many splendid saves. Could have had so many goals today. Half of the credit goes to the goalkeepers, half towards the forwards for not quite being as clinical as you could have possibly been. And drama right at the end as we end. THIMPHU FC 0, TSIRANG FC 0. Both will have to settle for a point each, which does not necessarily change the rankings as much. TSIRANG now with 10, tied alongside Paro and BFF Academy. THIMPHU City up on top, 11 points, still unchallenged. THIMPHU FC, on the other hand, 6 points, jumps up to 7, tied alongside RTC at 6th and 7th place. Until then, this was your commentator Ugintesh Toji. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do apologize for the issue early on with the mic after resuming the second half. Thank you for your patience, but again, see you guys in the next one.